everybody, to Set It Off Senior Style. This is our third season, talking about everything related to seniors. Today, I have Charly McCracken, who's going to talk to us about artificial intelligence. She has agreed to be on here and help us seniors learn a little bit more on the African American network that has a local feel and a global reach. She's going to talk about all kinds of things to make life much, much easier with the AI. So, Charly, welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you would, tell us a little bit about you and your business.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Shar. I appreciate being on here today. And as you know, the most important thing I want everybody to know about my business is that when I go to work every day, I go to the playground.
Great.
So I get an opportunity to do the things that I like. The name of my business is Atlanta Web Design and SEO, and we are a digital marketing platform. And basically, we did a lot of graphics and web designs and content creation and SEO. But since we now have artificial intelligence at our fingertips, over the last 18 months, my business has broadened its scope to include artificial intelligence. And so I've been pretty diligent about learning it really, really well and teaching a lot of people how to use it and use it properly so that they can get the best benefits out of it. And that's something that I truly enjoy doing more than anything else, is helping people find success in the tools that are available to us. So that's what I do.
Great. So, this AI stuff, it's been around for a while, but it's becoming more common for people to know about it and to use it. So, could you explain a little bit, what is this artificial intelligence? Because a lot of people, when they hear artificial intelligence, they think robots taking over the human race, all of that kind of stuff. So, can you kind of clarify what actually is artificial intelligence?
Sure. Well, artificial intelligence is when you can train a machine or the machine can train itself to predict or try to think the way human beings think.
Hmm.
Now, there's the deep learning and then there's the machine learning. These are artificial intelligence tools that developers use to develop softwares and systems and things like that, and other types of business solutions. The artificial intelligence that we have at our fingertips is generative AI. And generative AI is a set of tools that is designed to take a prompt, a prompting from us, an instruction from us, and to generate some unique content. So everything that it kicks out is unique within itself. It may be under a general umbrella, and that all has to do with the prompting, but it's supposed to predict what you really want. But of course, like any type of machine learning, what you put into it is what you get out of it. Just like life, whatever you put into life, that's what you get out. So the trick with artificial intelligence, the generative that we use, is that we have to get the prompting correctly. If we can prompt it correctly, we can have a real conversation with it. And as you know, one of the most popular tools that's being used right now is called Chat GPT. It's from a company named OpenAI. Well,
Mhm.
it's Chat GPT because you're supposed to have an open conversation with it. And when you can learn to do it that way, you get the best results. It is trained on huge amounts of data, all sorts of data, everything from medical books and articles and research to training manuals for how to operate your car, to textbooks of almost any body of language in any institution, to common things like sayings and quotes and things like that. So it has a huge amount of information that has already been trained on. That's what the GPT part is about. It's generative pre-trained platform. It's already trained on this thing. So when you ask it for something, all it can really do is go into the body of knowledge that it has and extract something that it thinks that you want. So that's how it works.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So, if I wanted to write an article, say on senior dating online and wanted to talk about safety tips, What would I put into this chat GPT to make it come out with an article?
Okay. Well, an article is a big job for any AI tool. So what
Mhm.
we choose to do is we choose to break it up into bite-sized parts so that it can give us different sections all at a time. So remember, it's all about the prompt. Whatever you put in, that's the nature of the quality of what you get back. So if you put enough information for it to understand completely what you're asking for, like what you just said,
Mhm.
you're looking for dating tips, that's pretty clear. What it's going to do is it's going to scour the internet and scour its knowledge base, and it's going to put together something that it thinks you will value. Okay. But even
Okay.
that is a big topic. So what we normally do when we do articles is we get a general, we provide context. So in other words, you can tell it what it's supposed to be. In other words, if you wanted to write an article on dating, then say that you're a dating expert. So now it's going to position itself in that persona. It's going to go through all of the knowledge base that it has, and it's going to find someone in that knowledge base who is a dating expert, and it's going to pull from that person's information so that it gets more accurate. But what we generally do is we tell it the nature of the conversation, right? The article. Then we also tell it what the audience is. Is it going to be for teenage dating or senior dating, right? So you'll get totally different answers. But if you don't tell it, it'll give you something general that may not really meet your needs. And then we start out with asking it for an outline first so that we can go through the outline. We can add anything that we think is missing, or we can take out parts of the article that we don't think are appropriate. And then from there, we'll build it piece by piece by piece by piece. And by doing this, what that is called tree of thought, we're telling it, this is a big tree we want you to build, but we want you to do it branch by branch. So as it works on each section after each section, it builds on the knowledge that it had before instead of just rambling off some huge article that you'll have to go through and edit anyway. You're going to have to edit anything anyway. You're going to have to edit everything that comes out of it has to be edited. So, but
So
it'll take
in that
time,
particular situation, then, so I have a subject, online dating tips for seniors. Well, what I
right?
hear you saying is I would start out with that, and then I would say, I write an article for seniors 60 and above for online dating tips. Include safety,
There.
include those that like to travel, or maybe
Yes.
say, what are the first steps once you get online, or how do you write a profile without giving personal? So those kind of details are what you're saying. And then when it spits it out, then I would do a outline and say, based on this information, write an outline, and then it'll write me an outline.
Well, you're gonna put all of that information in as your initial prompt. So it's gonna be
Mhm.
pretty long. You're gonna give a lot of detail. But the
Mhm.
first thing that you ask it to do before you write the article is to show you the outline.
Oh,
So
okay.
it'll do the outline first. So in that first prompt, when you get finished putting all of that context, let it get a frame of thinking, position it, where
Okay.
you want it to be, put some boundaries around it. And then you can tell it, give me an outline based on what I said I wanted, so that you can go through the outline and review it and see if it's actually what you want. Then you'll modify that outline and you'll go back and you'll show it the outline that you actually decided to go with. And then you build it piece by piece by piece because
So
it
like if
will
it's
really, yeah, little pieces at a time, because it
okay.
can really ramble on due to no fault of its own. Those are some of the limitations that we have with it. And you don't want it to do that. You want it to really stay concise and on topic throughout, because it will really run away. We call that hallucinating. And that's one of the things that
Hallucinating.
it hallucinates. If it's not quite sure what you want, it will either pull something that it's not sure you want, or it will literally make something up, something totally off the wall. Which is why
Wow.
we always tell people, when you use it, check it for accuracy. Don't get embarrassed by cutting and copying and pasting. That's not the way that you're supposed to use it, because you will get embarrassed because it'll lose topic, it'll lose focus. It's just a machine. And it
Okay.
has to be, so when you do that tree of thought prompting, where you do it branch by branch by branch, you keep it focused. You keep it within the boundaries that you really want it to be in. And it can often start out really, really well, and it'll be just for seniors. But then all of a sudden, out of the blue, it'll put something, a safety tip for teenage dating. So
Oh,
that's why we do it piece by piece by piece. We don't ask it to just write the whole thing all at once.
okay. So not everybody's going to be interested in writing an article, but seniors do emails, they do letters. How would one work with something like that?
Okay, well, here's an example. Let's say that you're an unhappy customer and you want to write a complaint letter. Well, everything that you are thinking, remember, you're just having a conversation. Open yourself up and fully vent and say, I went to the store, I bought this item, it cost so and so amount of money. My thoughts were about it, blah, 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 blah. But when I got it home, these are the ways that I had buyer's remorse. It didn't do that, it didn't do the other. And what I'd like the store to do is either give me my money back or give me credit or just make the manager aware, like give it some objective for the letter. And
Oh,
at the end of that, it can fully write a letter. And what you want to make sure, which makes it really convenient, put the name of the store, put the date that you made the purchase, put the address of the store. If you have the manager's name, give it, and it will write the letter to that person directly. Now, that's something that it does really, really well when you give it enough details. Like I said, the power's in the prompt. If the prompt is
okay.
light, then you get a light letter, and it's not very effective. But when you take the time to actually do it, and you don't even have to talk to some of these tools. You can literally click on a microphone and just talk to it, have a chat with it. And the Chat GPT, oh, I love it. We now can talk on our phones to Chat GPT, and we can choose which voice we want it to be in. And I really love it. We can actually take our camera on our phone and walk around and say, tell me what you see. It's just fun. It's just really fun. That's something that came out 2 weeks ago with ChatGPT 4.0, which is
So
short for Omni. So it's fun. Yeah.
so it can see, it can hallucinate, it can make up stories. You can talk to it on your
Yeah.
phone. When you say the voice you want to use, what does that mean?
So they have a selection of male and female voices. Some are from the United States, some are from Australia, some are from London. There's a Latino voice. So you pick the character of voice when you first go in. It'll say, here's Claire. It's not Claire. There's Kelly and there's Dan and you just keep clicking on it and listening to the voices. It's based on what is attractive and appealing to your ear. So
Wow.
that's really fun. Yeah, it's really fun. And I have a gentleman, I think he's from Australia, because I just like the way his voice sounds. So that's the one I choose. And if I get bored with him, I switch it over to another option. Yeah, it's just fun.
That reminds me of when I don't remember which one it was, but one of the GPS programs, you could do Snoop Dogg on there and get
Yeah,
Snoop Dogg's voice. So you're saying this chat AI kind of stuff, you can even have different voice, literally like different accents and male or female voice and things like that.
right. And
Wow.
it's funny. Now there are hundreds and hundreds of tools that have popped over the last 18 months. For every day, there's been 3 to 5 new tools for 18 months. So I do not remember all the tools, but I do keep a list of the ones that I like. And there is a one that I can look up for you where it can actually mimic your voice. It'll ask you to speak for 45 seconds. And then what it will do is every time it responds in your voice. Or if you want to use your voice in a video, it now has the tonality of your voice, and you can take a script and upload that script, and it'll read that script in your voice for a video or something like that.
There
The
was
thing
some recent
that are
case where
amazing.
a actress
Hmm.
sued somebody because they had a voice like her voice. It wasn't her voice. They had tried to contract with her for her to do it, and she said no. So they made up a voice that was similar to hers, and now she's suing them.
And I'm not really sure that's going to fly. That case opened up a couple of weeks ago. I forget
Uh-huh.
the lady's name, but she is a celebrity and she is suing OpenAI. But it's a facsimile of her voice. It's not her exact voice. So these are some of the things that, prosecutors and judges are going to have to start to add to their repertoire. They're going to have to set some precedents with some of the cases that are coming before them, and there are many. And I would not want to be in their shoes right now, but they're setting real precedent for the future. So we'll see how this one goes. Like I said, she just filed the lawsuit about 10 days ago. Not
Right.
really sure how long it's going to take to get to either mediation or to get to court. But I'm going to be looking out for that as well, because it's not her exact voice. It can never be exactly that person's voice because it is robotic. And one of the very popular voices that's out there right now is Morgan Freeman.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, he has a fabulous voice. There are
Yes.
many facsimiles, and I've heard many facsimiles of them, but it's still slightly robotic. Like the voice tonality changes slightly when you get to commas and other punctuation. Sometimes when there's an apostrophe, it skips over the S. So it can never be their, it's not their voice. And so what is she saying? We have to now copyright or trademark or patent our voices? Really? So there you go. This is the first case about a voice, but not about an image. So, and these cases are in court every single day now because of
Wow.
so-called copyright infringement, but it's not exact. Remember, generative AI generates something original. So it's not quite the original.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, that's going to bring up a lot of legal issues.
Yeah.
Okay, so, some of us folks are still doing cards and notes to people. And it sounds like this AI would be able to do some notes and things for us so that we wouldn't have to handwrite it. How would you use the AI for saying, I want to send a sympathy card or I want to send a thank you card to someone?
That's a good question. One of the things that I find very, very difficult is that when I am sending a sympathy card, I don't quite know what to say. So I had someone pass away and I wanted to send a card, but I didn't know what to say. I talked to ChatGPT about it. And I said, this is my friend. This is the situation. This is how old she was. This is what her family might be experiencing. And I want her to know that I love the family and I care and I support them. But that's a hard time in life to know what to say. And it wrote a beautiful poem for me. I told him I wanted it to rhyme. Like I said, I told it that I just wanted it to be authentic and short and concise, but to generate love. I said stuff like that. And it wrote a beautiful card. I've used it for birthday wishes. I've used it for poems. I've written a couple of little songs with it. I just kind of tell it what I'm looking for. And does it get it right the first time? No. But you can eventually come up with something if you work with the AI tool. So I said, I don't like this line. Take this out. You're going too far this way. I don't like X, Y, and Z words. I don't like this phrase. Pull those out. And you go back and forth because remember, you're chatting. You're having a conversation. And you can eventually come up with some really nice things. And I had it write a couple of prayers for me. I was teaching a Bible study lesson. And I said, if Jacob could talk to us today, what would he tell us? So it reviewed the Bible. It reviewed the life of Jacob and the lessons that we learned from it, and it made this wonderful, wonderful prayer. Isn't that cool?
That is awesome.
Yeah. So it's all about providing enough conversation. When you call a friend on the phone, if you don't know the person well, or if you don't know the person well and you say, hello, how are you today? The first thing I'm going to say is, who is this? That's how it's thinking all the time. Who is this? What do you want? Why do you want it? Who is it for? If you do the who, what, when, where, who, what, when, where, and why, and how, If you can answer those questions, you'll probably get a really good response. Other than that, it's going to give you something generic because it has a huge body of knowledge and it can pull from any source. And what it's going to do is it's going to look at what you put in and it's going to go to the nearest source and it'll grab what it has and it'll just throw it back at you. And that's not really the most effective way to use it. You
Now,
can really get some valuable information if you know how to prompt it correctly.
so on the movies and stuff, I saw a movie recently. It had Jennifer Lopez in it. I'm trying to think of what the name of it was. Atlas, I think, or something. It's on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about different robots helping. Of course, it's way more advanced. But one of the things that the robot did, it started learning how she talked and it started repeating some of her terms back to her, phrases back to her. So it was learning her. Does the AI that we have now, does it learn how we talk and the words we use? Will it start to create things with us in mind? Or will it always be like that unique AI thing? Like, will it learn, like somebody told me one time they could tell if someone had a bachelor's degree or a doctorate degree by the way that they wrote because of the words they use. So does AI start studying that about you? And so when it does produce stuff, it's like what you might have come up with?
That's a good question. We don't have models that are constantly learning from us right now at our fingertips, but
Mm-hmm.
we can create them. One of the things that I do is when I start a chat about a particular topic for
Mm-hmm.
myself or one of my clients or some project that I'm working on, when I come back to the chat 2 weeks ago, I go straight back into that chat and continue the conversation. Now you're training it. But if
Oh,
every time that you go to communicate with it, you start a new chat, it can't refer to the other chats. However, that has just been implemented 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago. OpenAI now has something that it calls memory. So your answer is yes and no. OpenAI is the only one, the ChatGPT tool is the only one that has memory right now. And so the answer is yes, if it's just you. But oftentimes when we go to use ChatGPT, we're using it for different purposes, right? So
mm-hmm.
my memory is off because almost everybody that I support has a little chatbot that I've trained just for that business to do specific tasks just for that business. But if it were just me and I was a single user, yes, if I left the memory on, which it comes on in default, it's definitely on in default when you open up your account, it will start to learn you. And so a couple of things that they warn us, don't put any personal information in there. No social security numbers, no addresses, no anything that you don't want it to know, because that information can not only be learned from that particular bot, but it can enter into the whole realm of the knowledge base and be available for somebody who you don't want to have that information in there. So
Wow.
I recommend leaving the memory off if you don't. If to me it's kind of spooky, but if you want to use it for a particular thing, like I at one point created some recipes for myself and I wanted to keep those in there. Well, then every time I want to go and create more recipes, yes, I go right back there because it tells every food that I like, the foods I'm allergic to, the foods I will never eat, how I like them prepared. And so when I want to make a unique dish, yes, I want it to be trained. I don't want to have to keep feeding it that information over and over and over again. So I just go back into that one chat. And so what the way that we train it, if we like to train it, is the very first conversation, you tell it everything about yourself or the topic that you're wanting to talk about up front. And then you just keep going back to that when you just search through and find it. With Chat GPT, they make it really easy. If you start a chat, you don't have to go back and find it. You can create a link to it and save that link in a Word document. And then
Mm-hmm.
every time that you want that link, you want to go back to that chat, you just click that link and you'll go straight back to that chat. So yeah, that's a nice thing to have. It's really convenient.
So when you're saying go back to a chat, so like if I do like I have my book, Senior Seeking Soulmate, If I
Mhm.
want to do a workbook with it, I would say, okay, this chat I'm going to call workbook. And then I'd have another chat where I might want to do TikTok videos or ideas for TikTok videos. That would be a separate chat. So
Yes.
is it kind of like little folders you're talking about when you say go back to
Yes.
the chat? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's files, more like files, because I wish it did have folders, because
Okay.
folders contain many files, but
Okay.
there are some GPTs out there that you can use for folders, but there's some limitations to them. I used one for a long time and then I just deleted it because it after a certain amount of days, it would hold up my chats after 30 days and I would have to pay to see my other chats. So
Oh,
people are scheming and making money off of it. So right now, the best thing to do is just to create yourself either an Excel spreadsheet and type in the name of the chat that you had and put the link in there and just keep your own reference so that you can
okay.
easily access them again. That's
Okay.
the
And so
easiest, cheapest way. Yeah, because everybody
um,
wants money. Who's got all
yeah,
these nickels and dimes to give away? Before you know it, we're giving away our dollars.
yeah.
So they'll say it's only $2 a month. Yeah, and then this one's $3 and that one's $2. And so it adds up. So I'm very careful not to do some things on my own so that I can save some money as well.
Okay. So when you say go back to the chats, it's like a file.
It's a
And
file.
then that's where it starts learning, and that's where it has the memory. And oh gosh, this stuff is amazing and kind of complicated too, and a little bit of scary. You know, it can see things like it can read.
Yes,
It
it
has
can. It can read.
memory. It has the voice. I see why people think, you know, maybe AI is going to take over at some point because it's doing amazing things.
It is, but it cannot think and it cannot reason.
Oh,
And
okay.
another thing is it cannot think, it cannot reason. That's what they're working on. They are creating what they call neural networks, just like the neural networks in our brain. But they can develop a node, which is a little piece of information that different streams of energy go into that can pull from that node. And there are billions of nodes out there. So it is sort of like a neural network, but it can't think. It
Mm,
can't think, it can't reason. You have to help it. Now, it can gather enough information from the internet to logically give you a response, but it is a machine. And I remember I went to an appointment and there was a gentleman there and he was asking me what I did. And I told him about AI and he said, "Is AI going to take over the world?" And I said, think really sensibly about the world you live in. The world we live in is full of powerful, powerful people. These powerful people want to remain the ultimate power. If you disconnect it from the wall, it can't work. It still has to work on electricity. So it's nothing to fear. It's always going to need a battery pack. So if
wow.
nothing else, even if we get these little AI robots that we can have in our houses, which you can have them because they have robots on college campuses now that you can summon with your phone and it'll bring you a soft drink and a snack.
Yeah.
Okay. So even if you got something like that and it got out of control, put it in a closet till lock it in a closet till the battery dies. Like, how much control can it really have when it depends on us for its engine, right? So
Okay.
it is, I mean, now, will there be some people who will see, we can't remotely transmit electricity. So as long as we may be, I don't think so, because for some reason we don't really understand what electricity is. So unless we can remotely transmit electricity, then eventually the battery's going to die. It's
Right.
going to have to come back to home base for a charge. So that's why I think that we're not going to have to worry about it. Now, are we
Not in
going to
this
have
lifetime.
some
Sounds like.
right? Are we going to have some? Because I've thought about this through and through. Are we going to have some robots that can live for a week or two or three? Probably. Just like we have electric cars that can take you so many miles. But
Mhm.
there's a limitation. No charge, no roll. So that's part of our saving grace. And like I said, the moment that those powerful people find out they're not the one with the ultimate power, they'll
Mhm.
disconnect it. We're really safe, not because they're protecting us, but because they're protecting themselves.
That's
So,
great. That's great.
yeah, so I think people ought to try to use it with integrity, and learn to use it well, because it really will help you in your life in many ways. Really will.
Yeah, you had talked once before about helping in your life, like doing healthy meal planning. So it can come up with, like, you can say, I really like chicken and fish. I like vegetables. I don't like broccoli. And then it will come up with meals for you so you can plan your menus for the week. Does
I've
it do?
used it and I love it. But there are some things that you need to have it look at you from a holistic perspective. So it needs to know what your gender is, what your age is, what your weight is, what your goals are. It needs to know what medications you're taking. You see? Right.
Okay.
Your food allergies, as well as your preferences and likes. So when you put all of that into it, it is amazing and it's creative. And what
Hmm.
if you tell it, I have these 20 items on my shelf in my pantry and I need to eat them. We all have to pantry feed from time to time because we just get too much in there. It can make up recipes from that. So I actually like the exercise. I like the mindfulness strategies that I get from it. And I love the recipes. I have these things called Charlie's Super Soup and Charlie's Super Salad because I'm trying to do certain things with my body. Like I don't want any inflammation and I want to keep the sugar and the salt down and stuff like that. So now that I've told it what I'm trying to do, it can create recipes and meal plans for me. It made a meal plan for me for 7 days of just fruits and vegetables. When I tell you I enjoyed my week because it gave me ideas I had forgotten about, fruits and
Okay.
vegetables and things that I had forgotten about. And I learned that I like kale. I never thought I would eat kale.
Oh,
So, right. So it can really be helpful if you thoughtfully have a conversation. If you go to your doctor, they ask you all of these questions, right? So one of the things that when we're doing a meal plan or a healthy eating plan or anything like that, meal prep or anything, we should ask the tool to interview us like a doctor, right?
oh,
So you tell it, you are my physician. My age is, my gender is, my race is, because race has a lot to do with it. There are some diseases that we're predisposed to just because of our culture.
right.
And this is what I really want. Now, I want you to do a meal plan for me, but I'm not sure what I want. I would like you to ask me one question at a time, the information that you need to know so that I can get the best result. So it can either list all the questions, but I like it to go back and forth. It'll ask me a question. I will answer that question. I'll submit that question, and then it'll say, are you ready for me to go to the next question? And if it has a sub question, it'll ask you that too. Now
Wow.
that's something it's called the interview technique. So it interviews us. And then there is the expert technique. So let's say that a person wants a meal plan and they have high blood pressure and diabetes. Okay. Then they take those two specialists and they say, you are a panel of experts. One is whatever the doctor is that deals with blood pressure, and one is whatever the doctor is that deals with high blood pressure. I
Mhm.
want you to, all of you, to consult with me and give me your opinion and then
Hmm.
type in something. I like to eat so and so throughout the week. Expert one will give you an answer. Expert two will give you an answer. Isn't that cool? And now
That's
you're doing some
amazing.
really great research. Yeah.
Amazing. So this new AI just helps with all facets of our life, makes it easier and much more informed about things because I know I can do a meal plan, but a meal plan as detailed and as focused as what you're talking about is way beyond what I could ever come up with. That is amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
So now you were gonna provide some kind of what do you call it? QR code.
You know, I have a document and I can provide the QR code.
Okay,
And it is prepared. Give me 1 second here. Let's do this.
I'm gonna stop.
I'm ready.
So, Charlie, you have a QR code behind you, and what is that going to do for folks?
It is a QR code to a little ebook that I put together with some prompts in it that I think your viewers will like. And it's for a AI assisted event planner. So it'll actually walk you through the stages of if you wanted to plan an event and allow AI to help you, it will help you do that. And when they go inside, they'll see the prompts are in little brackets and they can use that prompt. Then a part of it will be highlighted in yellow. They just replace that highlighted yellow part with their personal details. But it is based on a case study of creating a 50th anniversary wedding anniversary for Anne and Eugene. So it has a little case study that kind of walks you through. But all you have to do is customize it and it will help people. And it's pretty thorough. From the
Wow.
venue to the invitations to everything is pretty nice. It's pretty nice. So I did put that together for your viewers, and I hope that they enjoy it. So they can
That's
just scan that code
awesome.
and it'll take them to a Google Doc and they can pick it up.
Well, thank you. That is wonderful. I really appreciate that. A nice little free gift there for folks to, will this help them kind of get familiarized with the AI?
It takes them step by step because I've provided the prompts for them to type in and they'll be
Okay,
able to clearly see the prompt because it's in a bracket all by itself.
okay.
And so they'll just cut and copy that out of there and paste it in to their tool of choice. I say that they should use ChatGPT because ChatGPT is able to browse the internet. So
Okay.
even if you said, I'm going to do a family reunion, we're going to do it in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, find me some places that I can rent. Then it can search the internet and find those local places. Or I need a
Wow.
caterer, find me a local caterer. That's the beauty of it, right? So I think they'll have fun with it.
Awesome. Well, so appreciate that. And I hope that more seniors will give it a try and not be afraid of the AI. You made it sound so user friendly, and there's nothing to be afraid of, either trying to improve your tech skills or that maybe AI may take over. I'm glad you talked about that. And the many things that it can do is just amazing. And like you said, the right prompts, it's a machine. Practice with it. I've done a few things with it that have helped me do a few things a lot easier. Like I teach college, and I tried it. I put in there for a syllabus, and I said all the criteria I needed, and it printed it just so beautifully. So all I had to do is copy it and put it in the template for the university. Saved me tons of time, tons of time. So
Absolutely.
really appreciate that. Now, you do teach people how to do this and other tech things too, right?
I do. And like I said, those are, I think, the most rewarding things that I do now because so many people don't understand how to use this artificial intelligence. They don't know the benefits or they have a fear. So when I can see somebody get a result from it, and remember, results are instant. They're instantaneous. The moment you put it in, you hit enter, you might have 3 seconds, but your response is going to be there. So some of the things that I like to teach are the basic uses of it. So if you had a group that just wanted to do plan a vacation or they just wanted to do a newsletter, I can show them how to curate from the internet stories of interest with another AI tool that would come in and then they could populate it through something like Canva, which has AI in it.
Mm.
Also, I like to teach smart AI. Smart AI is a practice that business owners can use if they want to do marketing materials, website content, and blogs. There's a smart way to do it that's of integrity. And another reason why it's smart is because, and you know, as a college professor, it will be able to go through the AI detector and tell you that it's 99% human. So that's smart AI. And then there's one that I really like, which is the AI for real estate. Brokers and things like that. It can really help you do a lot of quick research on markets in areas that you're not familiar with. It can help you. You can have the best property listing in the world that'll just make somebody salivate because it can be creative like that. And it gets all the fine details where we can overlook some of that stuff. And then the final one that is my very, very favorite, I have put together a process. It's a full training process called Grant Engine AI. And Grant Engine AI, I've tested it. I have a case study on it. And it was a case study, but the lady got so much value. She sent me money, a lot of money. It's amazing. I really take my time to create not only prompts, but processes. And those processes mean you start with this prompt, then you use that prompt, then you use that prompt, then you use that prompt. So it's chain of thought. How am I taking it through my thought cycles, step by step, to get what I need? And what it does is it helps nonprofits determine if they qualify for the grant, locate grants that they do qualify for, show them why they didn't get a grant, compare them to the grant recipients who have received it before, make sure that their executive summaries, their values, and their mission and vision align with the funder. And then if they don't qualify, right, and if they want to qualify, the AI actually shows them what they need to do to qualify. So that is my biggest invention that I'm very, very proud of. And I'm really glad that it's for the nonprofit sector, because I'm going to be able to help hundreds of nonprofits stop wasting their time on grants that they don't qualify for and really go ahead and apply for more grants in a shorter period of time so they can focus on achieving their missions and values, why they set up the nonprofit. So it takes more than 40% of the time away from writing a grant, where they have a tool, and it is a process. They have to use the prompts. They have to customize each prompt, which doesn't take a lot of time, but they have to use them in the exact order that I give them. So that's a process. That's why I call it Grant Engine AI.
Awesome. That's amazing. So Grant Engine AI is your invention. All right. That is
Yes.
awesome. Awesome. Well, I hope that people will order that. We know a lot of nonprofits that need to get grants written. I love the whole thing that you described about it, why you didn't get it and how you can improve it, because grant writing can be complicated. And
Yes.
your invention is going to help a lot of nonprofits get some money. So,
Yeah. And
okay,
they can
is there
just
anything
call me.
else you want to tell us right quick? Like maybe repeat your address again, website, and any other little
Sure.
final tips you might want to make?
Sure. One of the tips that I'd like to tell you that is really, really important, don't copy and paste, not unless it's just an outline. Other than that, don't copy and paste. Be sure you won't have to spend the time writing content, but you'll spend more time editing than you ever did before. That's the first tip. Use it with some integrity. Copying and pasting, first of all, I can tell. Experts can tell. The places where I have seen where they just copy and paste it, and then I test it. I put it through the detector just because I said it was, so that will take away from your credibility. If they
Right.
think that you're just using just copy and paste, okay? They'll think it's somebody's idea, but it's not. It's not. It's original content, but we don't want to ruin any reputations, nor do we want it to give inaccurate information.
Right.
And it can make typos and grammatical errors, so you want to read it. The next thing that I want to say is invest in a little prompt writing ebook course. They're very cheap. They're 30, 40 bucks. Invest in a prompt engineering class. There are even some ones out there, they're okay, but they're free, but they get you, they'll help you along the way. So if you're going to use it, like learn how to use it. You can learn it in a week. You can keep really great notes. And like I said, test everything out before you do it. And if you ever have a question, people can just contact me at atlwebforce@gmail.com. I'm always open to talking about artificial intelligence and helping people with that. And I do have some training classes that are available on the website, which is atlwebforce.com. So I'm easy to find. you know, this is what we do. And we set up trainings every single month. And I really have a lot of joy teaching them.
That is fantastic. So atlwebforce.com if they want to take some of your classes. Grant Writing Engine.
Grant
Is that
Engine AI. It's all on the training website. They can read
okay?
all about it.
Okay, so
Everything's
they
on
can
the
go
website.
go to the
Mhm.
website and get all that information about the grant writing, the prompting. You're going to give them this free prompting exercise and any
Yes,
classes they want to take. Awesome,
exactly.
awesome.
And there's
Well,
a few other free things online that they can download too. So
okay, great. Well, I hope folks will take some of your classes. I know I've enjoyed your classes. So have a blessed day. And thank you for being on the African American Network, Set It Off Senior Style, the network that has a local feel and a global reach. Charly McCracken, atlwebforce.com. Get in contact with her and don't be afraid of the AI. She will help you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you.
thank you, Dr. Shar. It was my pleasure.